Hey y'all, how's it going? I know it's been forever. I've literally shot 4 videos throughout the year since my last video, and I shoot a video and then I don't take the time to edit it and post it. So here we are, it's October. I haven't posted in a while. It's now pretty much fall here. We've got cool weather in the 50s to 70s. And I mean, it's just for a week or so. I know it's going to go away, but we're enjoying it. And I'll show you around. We got lots of fall natives blooming, and it looks nice. Hey y'all, so here we are standing in the road so that we can see the extent of my front yard food forest. On this little parking strip, I've got 2 plums that were given to me from a neighbor behind me, and they were seedlings from their plums that are little yellow plums. And this one's about 4.5 feet tall, and that one's 6. And then if we continue, the muley grass that I added in from, I had a bunch of baby muley grass over by the front door, is doing well. Only one of the clumps, this one right here, didn't end up making it, but all the others did. And then in those, I've got 6 jujube trees that I grew from seeds, and 2 pomegranates. Oh, and a gumi. So I've got this sweet scarlet gumi from cutting, and this is a wonderful pomegranate, the same as the one I have over there by the house. And then I've got another cutting of that wonderful pomegranate right here that will be that tall next year, because that's how big this one was when I planted it this year. So all along this front berm, I've got tons of native asters, and they may be coming across as white, but they're actually purple. They're purplish. Oh, there you go. When I get really close, you can kind of see, but they are just covered in pollinators, like lots of European honeybees, of course, but I also see megachilid leafcutter bees and bumblebees and other smaller bees, carpenter bees, lots of butterflies. I've seen skippers and all different kinds of butterflies come into these pigeon peas as well. The pigeon peas, these are northern adapted, so they produce a lot earlier. And man, I've never gotten pigeon peas before. I grow them every year just because they're good nitrogen fixers and to improve the soil along this front berm. And I got these from Seed the Stars in Florida, and we got so many just between these 2 plants. I planted them all along this berm, but like I said, the soil's crap and it doesn't get as much water as the other berms. But these ones that came up were so productive, and I've got tons of extra seed now to replant next year. Keep improving this soil. We've got our first rack of bananas. In about 4 or 5 years, there's about 40 bananas. They're small, but they're super tangy and flavorful, tropical tasting. So it's better than nothing. Like most other bananas cannot survive. We get 18 degrees regularly. Tons of butterflies here every day. I see at least 4 or 5 species a day. This is a native Turk's cap that's got this monarch on it. Other things that are producing right now are this. I harvested most of the persimmons, but there's a couple left. Oh look, there's a dragonfly just hanging out on this persimmon. And that's what I love about my yard. Like, there's more biodiversity here than at the park across the street, the Brick Park. I've got so much going on. The native white asters that are back in this section are starting to bloom just now. I let these get a lot taller than a lot of the purple ones in the front because they're along the sidewalk. These I kind of let go wild, and so there's a patch of those. Obviously a big patch of goldenrod. That's Seaside goldenrod, which is another good native. It's not too big compared to the Canada goldenrod. Here's an elderberry. I've been fighting webworms since spring, but now that it's fall and my plants aren't in danger and they've done what they needed, I'm kind of letting these webworms take hold a little bit in some spots so that birds get extra food from those caterpillars and butterflies. There's just so much biodiversity of pollinators. There's a cool little wasp in there. And most of these natives, as you know, came up by themselves. I did plant that elderberry, all these asters and goldenrod, and oh, there's another butterfly. It's one of those long tailed skippers. They almost look like a hummingbird flying around. They're so fast. I'm not going to be able to get it on film, but I promise I just saw it. It's there. Let's see. Other things fruiting right now and doing stuff. The beauty berries are these American beautyberry, another native I added. I added that Turk's cap. These kumquats have tried to flower all year, but I wanted this to focus on growing, and it's triple the size it was at the beginning of the year, and I said, okay, it can fruit now, and it's getting a bunch of fruit on it. This is that Scots Black Fig I planted. It's supposed to be an improved Celeste, and it was a foot tall this year, and now it's covered in fruit. Ooh, look at that. Barbie's gonna be excited about that. This is supposed to be like the ultimate fig for down here. Just like, I had never heard of it, but I did some research, and Scots Black is like the ultimate, way better than a regular Celeste. I mean, just the size of that fruit. I hope it tastes as good as I think it's gonna. We're, of course, still getting tons of butternut squash. These are those Tahitian melon squash. I got these seeds from Baker Creek. Some of these things are just massive. Like, I got a 8-pound one, 8.2 pounds, as big as my arm. When I cut it up, it was 6.8 pounds of just flesh. And I mean, this one's pretty big. They're all big. That one's massive. So they're still producing actively. Over on this side, here's that other wonderful pomegranate. I harvested one of the pomegranates it produced earlier in the year, and I did it wrong. It was too early, and it was a waste. Another blueberry. Got blueberries all in these berms in between the fruit trees. This nectarine grew really well this year. It had started slow, and I'm hoping it makes about 20 fruit next year, like this one did this year. And this one is now just huge. So I'm guessing that other one will look like this next year. And I've got it very open center. I've pruned all my fruit trees 3 times this year. Keeping this walkway open requires a little extra pruning on the side of this one. There's another plum here, back where I started showing you all those plums. Sorry for spinning you. Here's the other plum. Native red bud, I planted that. Native mulberry, I planted that from cutting. Peaches, pears, sweet potatoes all in here. They've been flowering a lot, which is really nice to see. It's just really pretty flowers. Here's a fresh one. And the sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes. I want to make a wall of these along here because this is the north. This is where the cold winds come from and blow in. And so if I make a wall from there all along here, that'll help protect the interior of this food forest. Not that things like these pawpaws or native mulberries need. I'll show you really quickly one last thing in the front. This willow chair I've been working on. I replanted it to this spot this winter, and it did just fine with the transplant. The seat's coming along really nicely. I've got good thick main branches here. It can support this little block, no problem. I think Avi could sit in it, but I want to give it another year to grow that seat, and I think by next year it'll be good for sitting in for her. I hear one of the chickens in the back. Let's head back there. One of my chickens thinks it's a rooster. I don't know, they get loud for hens. What? So I've got lots of random stuff out here. We just went camping, so I've got an ice chest, cleaned out the aquarium and the guest room, and gonna give that away. I've been having to water a lot. We've been in drought. It hasn't been raining much for the past 3 weeks, and so I've been using the sprinklers and soak hoses. And so back here, these bananas never produce. We got one rack, but the ones in the front, first year there, they produce. So I think these just don't get enough sun. I did notice 3 sword pups in the front. I don't know if sword and water pups are a real thing, but they had very sharp leaves, so I'm hoping we'll get 3 more racks next year if we don't have too harsh a winter. But here's our biggest Persian mulberry that the kids are going to play in, and this is a mayhaw. It's got a grasshopper on it up there. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There it is. There you go. Anyway, I decided to let this mulberry grow, and it's probably, I'd estimate, about 18 or 20 feet now. Back in this area, the little kids' garden, we've got some native spot flower. We've got a red tulsi, which I planted, not tulsi, Turk's cap. The little flower back there. It's been having tons of flowers. This blue mist, purple mist flower is one of the first things that came up native in my yard. So I've got lots of that and frog fruit. And we planted this pineapple sage. It's got edible flowers like the Turk's caps. And then if you remember this Pakistan mulberry, I cut this down to here over winter, probably down here, and to bury it because we were getting 18 degrees and this can only handle 20, the Pakistan. And since that time, it is now as tall as this Persian mulberry next to it. I mean, I should have pruned it maybe, but I'm just so impressed. It's at least 18, maybe 20 feet tall. Over here we've got some Canada goldenrod in the back. You can see how tall it is next to that pecan. And some of it's fallen over. The loofah, man, I planted loofah on the other side of this coop. You can see we're getting baby loofah all the way over here. And talk about, we have probably 40 plus loofah. We got tons of volunteer squash that came up, but just all around this thing are just loofah, loofah, loofah. So you get it. Loofah very productive. Chickens kind of unhappy right now. Lots of aquatic natives back here because I dug this area deep. So there's some spiderworts and frog fruit like normal. Here's some more of that white aster. This is really blooming nicely. As we go along here, I let this area go pretty wild, but I do have this elephant ear, turmeric, There's some thornless blackberries in here. This is other mulberries, Suicene mulberry, bald cypress. And then my giant ironweed, which blew over in Hurricane Francine. I had tied it up, but it's doing fine over here. It's going to seed, so I'm not worried about it. Back in this corner, we've got some more blue mist. I think it should be called purple mist. What is up here? I'm not even sure. Something growing right there. Lots of ironweed. Here's, what is that again? Herb. Tarragon. French tarragon. Got crushed by the ironweed falling over, but it'll be fine. We had tons of figs this year. Y'all missed that because I haven't made a video in months. But we had tons of figs. I'm moving through the fig jungle right now so I can show you from the other side. Okay, so here's the other side of my backyard. Can see better from here because there's no glare. Still got some figs up there. These are all regular Celeste. Ooh, there's a really ripe one. I want to get that. I think I can get it. Ooh, oh, yes. Haha. Bird took a bite. That's okay. I would have too. Yummy. Celeste. So, Celeste is a good fig for down here, don't get me wrong, but I'm excited about this Scots Black. So back in this corner, I've got some daisy fleabane, more blue mist, and some regular ironweed that just came up by itself. I've also got my big bed of asparagus. Lots of basil going to seed over here, and the bees love this area the last 3 months as I deadheaded basil and made a constant supply of flowers for them. But there's even a little aster down here. I like to let things grow. If it's not super in my way, I mean, these are in my way, but I can walk right by them and, oh no, my leg smells like basil. We got a lot of muscadines this year. That was really nice on these vines. I don't really have anything else to show you. I showed you everything. I don't know what you want from me. Let's go see. I'm just messing with y'all. We'll go see the chickens. This is where the loofah started. Right down here. I was going to have this awesome archway into my food forest you could walk through, and it got crushed by the weight of these vines. So little kids can walk through. It's nice. Of course, loofah all along here. This is where they started. My gate is and fence are falling down from the weight of this. I'll go ahead and let them out. We let them out at like 11 or 12 every day and let them just go free range in the food forest. And they do as they please and have fun. But you can see the weight from all of these loofah has bent my gate downward, and the fence too, because they're all in here, all along the chicken yard. And just for reference, so we went all the way around here and around here to where this one is. Like, that's how far away from the original plant. And you know, if you want to grow loofah, you're going to get a lot of loofah. Same as with other squash and cucumbers, cucurbits. I guess that's about it. Do we have any night blooming? We've been getting lots of night blooming Cereus. Oh, it looks like we had one yesterday, but not today. Sorry. I repotted some things. We took down the swimming pool. You didn't even know we had it up because you missed all the videos I took. That's okay.